Oh, all right. Is it there? Whoa, it's like my mix cast was off. I was like, dang, it went off. All right, let me get this really quick. Gotta grab this, gotta grab this, gotta grab this, because didn't realize my mix cast was off. Power here has been acting weird. Copied. In. Publish. And we are going. We are going for Sunday morning brunch. Are we there? Are we there? Are we there? It's still swirling. Oh, nice. Nice. Hi. Hey, Connecticut. What's up, Jacob? You're in Connecticut, huh? Love Connecticut. But I don't. Not anymore. I grew up Connecticut. I was from there. But yeah, Connecticut, man. I'm gonna be probably going back in October. I have a class reunion, might pop in to see my friend, best friend Ted. If you ever see a black Porsche running around called Blackula in Connecticut, that's my buddy, 911, and he's got that. But yeah, I did a thing yesterday, just making sure. Let me double check my stuff, just really fast because I'm here and it's Sunday morning and who knows what I'm doing. All right, that's good. Let me just check the hide. Really quick, really quick, really quick. I got to get a new. I have it up. Yep. Nope, that's not it. It didn't come up yet. Um, doesn't look like it's on the hide. Oh, there we go. All right, Sunday morning brunch. Sure up. All right, I'm all up. Sorry about that. Takes like a minute, almost 2 minutes for everything to get in. Morning, man. Morning, Bob. How you doing? Hey, everybody. Welcome Sunday morning. Just had Lindy here. Lindy Sis. If anybody's ever been to Rifles Only fame, Lindy Sis was here. They had a class in Colorado and we helped them out a little bit. So they were dropping some gear off to the house this morning on their way back to Texas. So morning to everybody. Morning, morning all, morning all. Enjoying your Sunday brunch coffee. That's why I'm like a little tiny bit late. I just had to wait for Lindy to pop in and yeah, Lindy, hang on, let me kill this. Yeah, we've had so much weird power stuff here. My thing went mute that, mute that, mute that. Keeps playing this shut my power off thing. And I've been having some wiggle weirdness, so it kills my power. I changed a breaker the other day because I was in the middle of working. I'm on here on the computer. I'm like da 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 working, and internet goes down. Breaker pops, and it won't come back on. I unplug everything, still pops, and I think we had a brownout here because Colorado's like California until I leave, and it broke the breaker because it was a GFI style breaker, and so it wouldn't stay anymore. So I think the brownout broke the breaker that ran my internet. So I was like completely bent. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Had to run to Home Depot, do all kinds of stuff. But yeah, Lindy was here, dropped off a bunch of gear. They had a nice class up there. So part of it is I went live this weekend. So Friday night and Saturday, I went live on the hide and did firearm instruction, live fire with no censorship, no penalty. So made sure it was basically a test to see where this goes until the RTMP is 100% correct for the site. But my system allowed me to do it. I didn't have any AI censorship or anything that said, "Uh-oh, he's live and has a firearm in his hand." It didn't do any of that. And so now my kind of proof of concept and everything worked out awesome. The only thing that I did find is so not too long ago I bought this little cannon, and it's like everybody's trying to sell you these cameras that are one button push, go live, connect to an app, will get you online and all these things so you can talk to people like this easier. So they have all these different systems they try to sell you. So I had this little camera and I like its size, I like the way it looks and all that. The only thing, I can't stop it no matter when I put into man, I got to dig into it, but every time I try to change a setting to stop it from like auto white balancing me, I can't get it to turn off. Even when I go into my white balance and change it, it'll like it's my beard. It like picks up through this eye thing. Like you can't see it, but I could see it on one of my other cameras here. It watches your eye and it eye focuses and then, white balances on your face. Well, it's like my beard blows out the white balance because it's gray and gray is a color they use for all that. And so, like, I did the live Friday night and I had a projector, the PowerPoint up. If I wasn't in the frame, you could see the PowerPoint. As soon as I got in the frame, it whited the background out and then you couldn't see it anymore. Well, and I noticed it like I was filming really quick short videos and it would go brighter, 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 brighter. Okay, I'm good. And it would constantly creep on you and get brighter. And like even here, I can move my hand and it doesn't change the look, right? It's not trying to constantly do the scene. And so I'm out doing the live and I noticed that camera's doing that. Well, in the room, that camera's that, and I had another camera to get close up. Bring that camera out. I'm with the other camera because I'm trying to run two cameras, a wide and sort of a close up, so I could switch it and be like wide, close up, wide, close up. And so that one camera's kind of messing up. The other camera that I had as a close-up camera was working really good. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that camera out to the range and I'm going to make that the primary. And then I'm going to make this little one the backup for different screen look. Well, I'm in the middle of like my shooting lesson and I'm showing everybody the bridge. The better camera freezes. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And I jump around to see it, and it did, and the scene was frozen. And I noticed it, and I'm like, "Oh man!" Switch back to the other camera, redo the scene. And for me, take two, take three is never as good as take one. If I screw take one up, take two and take three are going to be a little bit of a struggle for me to flow correctly. Take one is usually my best take. And so I'm like, I got to do it again on you guys because the camera froze. So in my mind, I'm investing money. I'm like, hey man, I'm buying good cameras. I got good equipment, and I have all these little um performance problems with the equipment, with the cameras. You know what I mean? All these little things are just off. This camera's autofocusing, I can't get it to stop. This camera's, freezing and it's plugged in and the battery power, and I need extra power because I don't want the cameras running off of batteries. So I tried plugging the one in. There was like a hiccup in my battery power. And that's a whole nother conversation. My EcoFlow, the one that I had 50%. I plug in a camera, which is tiny amount of power, and it died. And so it's like, man, I don't like this. So today, this morning, I get up and I'm waiting for Lindy and I'm playing around with cameras I have here, and I have good cameras. I try to make the scene look good. I went to class for cinematography. And this morning, I'm like, I'm going less. And I grabbed some webcams, and they're fine and they're perfect because I'm using external audio anyway. I don't need the cameras. And the cameras to me became overcomplicated and were giving me fits. So then I went to the simplest camera possible. I broke out two webcams this morning, and this looks amazing. So I'm gonna go live with them. No external power. Let the computer run it. I just plugged the computer in, and that takes care of everything. So now I know I can go live with a firearm. I can bring you what I need. And honestly, I like being live at the range better. It's more room. I can do things. And so live at the range is really was a way to go. And I'm now that I know everything's good, now that I found some of the pitfalls, I went and did the official webcam. When they went good, I did 3 hours. I did 3 hours of fundamental instruction for the guys. I had a couple people sign up. It was totally worth its while, and it's going to be the ticket instead of in-person classes, where I can make the in-person classes more of an event for people, play it a little more old school. Hey, 9 months from now, we're going to come to your area. You got 9 months to talk about it, to build it up, instead of like, we're doing classes every 3 months kind of thing and we're traveling around. I think I'll be able to bring you it this way. And then from there, I'll be able to, hit areas a little different for the in-person classes. But it worked really well. Just having the system there, and it like even this morning, I went out there yesterday. You got the Starlink with an extra battery. You got my camera bags, right? Two of them to make sure I got backup. You got all the batteries for all that stuff. Then I had three power banks, to make sure that's working. And all that's good. Then it's tripods and cameras and setup. Well, now if I just throw a laptop up, plug in these cameras that I have, um, it's hey, morning, Andrew. It's going to be I'm talking about the lives. They went really well. And I'm saying, because Andrew's part of it, he was in on Friday night, I believe. Weren't you in on the Friday night, Andrew? And I'm talking about my lessons learned. And I learned a ton in doing the lives. And I actually this morning I did a quick little test, and I'm 99% sure I've cracked it now. I got it. Because I was, like I said, I was trying to go better camera, better equipment. And it's actually less is better. Less is more in this. And this is why the kids use the Twitches and the things that they do for lives. They're not investing in crazy shit. They're just webcamming it up and getting a light there on them and then going, and their stuff is fine. Yeah, I don't know why the chat was locked. I didn't know that until I went in, and I'm absolutely going to fix that. That was something I think what happened in this. There was a couple things. The girls and like the web people who I work with who are doing all this, I call them the Audento people, but they preset the event. I can't have them preset the event like that. Their settings for the preset event are not my settings for the preset event. And I saw that after I went in to answer in the chat and it was locked, and I didn't know that. And I don't know why the chat was locked, but when I set the events, I'm making sure I check all those boxes. They sort of set the event in the default settings. And then I was going in and they had changed three things. Like I have a whole after action lessons learned from the event, but like I said, I think it went really well other than the two little hiccups that I had. I had the one camera freezing, and then I had the white balance was killing the projector and you couldn't see it. So that bugged me and stuff. And like I said, it's picking up on my beard. But also for the other half of the video, because Andrew asked about it, I did do a bunch of gas gun. I made sure I had the Knight's armament, and I shot equal time pretty much with the Knight's armament. So the gas gun stuff was done, went really well. And then, once I had Laura there to film the camera, but I really think that was a first try. And One, it was kind of like go live. I hit the button and then said, "Hey everybody, I have a firearm." And I was waiting for the AI to censor it and lock it down, and it didn't. So that was like battle number 1 was a success. Number 2, I can, Patrick. That's not a bad word. Patrick's asking if I've interested in revisiting. We just talked about that. That's kind of where Jay Wiggins went when I misread his last weekend. I misread his. Yeah, man. It was the 308 was good, but older cartridges cuz like I mean, a good example. So Patrick says, "Have you considered revisiting older cartridges with modern powdered bullets, twist rates?" Yes. Look up the 30 cal Tejas stuff. Tejas. If I saw his name and I want to say it's like Sanders or Saunters, if I saw the guy's name who does it, but he takes like 30 odd sixes and turns them into laser beams. Like I did a shot with one of his 30 odd sixes, his 30 Tejas. It was 13 MOA to like 1,000 yards because it goes so fast and so crazy. So there are definitely people that you can point to that are doing modern cartridges with modern twist rates and bullets that are like, whoa, what is that? And that's kind of like what I was talking to these guys with the 308 using 2000 MR as a powder. You know, you can take a 308, go with a heavier bullet like a 185. I would bet somebody had asked me, it might have been Andrew, about the 190. I would bet you could still get 2600 to 2650 with the 190, and that would be rock star out of a 308. But a 185, I can send 2,700 feet per second with a different powder. New bullet, new powder, right? Juggernaut in a 308 going 2,700 feet per second. And you're, 2 grains under really because max is like 48 and the load is 46 even in a 308. And it's like, it's amazing. It changes that stuff. And as well, lighter. They were talking like that 129. Um, and yeah, it's just really amazing what it'll do. Even like when I was playing with, the article got, like Patrick brought it back up. The article got lost, but when I did the flatline bullets, I did them out of a 20-inch 308. And I was shooting the 180s and the 160s and all of that out of a 20-inch 308. So for sure there is there's a lot to be had with a modern 308. Now, it's going to take a little bit of work, but I'm in for 308s, 10 twist. Done. 10 twist. If you're going to rebarrel it, build it, do something to it, if you're going to build or have to rebarrel, 10 twist. 10 twist 308, magic. Done. You don't have to worry about it. It's all over and it shoots everything. I don't care how if you go a little lighter, go a little heavier, the 10 twist solves the problem. Don't go to 8. You don't have to do 12. Don't do 10. And that takes care of that. But yeah, on the class Andrew cuz Andrew's in there, I the lessons learned and how I saw it operate, I got it. I have to have a bigger hand in setting up the event. Like I have to make sure the boxes I know are checked cuz they were just like event go. And when I go in, I'm like I set the delay, I set the chat, I make sure all that's there. And then they changed so much in a positive way behind the scenes of high TV. I tried to do things twice, like the autoplay versus the manual versus the timings used to be very particular. And now they're more like automatic. And so I'm trying to make sure like hit manual buttons and the system's like, no, we're there. No, we're there. And so I have it. And then, like I said, the camera, I was trying to over camera to basically say, "Hey, I want that fine tune adjustment," and it's less. Less is better. And so I definitely found um the pros and cons of doing it, and I found I would rather do it at the range or do it here where I have max control and play pre-done videos for you guys for the what I'll call the classroom. This would be the classroom setting when the Friday night that I believe Andrew was in was the classroom setting. I feel I can do that better from here. Um, yeah, and Andrew, and the problem was, and like I'll tell you, it got moved. Okay, so two things got moved actually. I was gonna just go do it and try it because I was talking with Chris, and Chris wants to take advantage of the internet and the lives in the system because the system is robust. And I'm like, "Okay, go do it." And he's like, "Well, I don't know how." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really either." I said, "But just go do it and don't worry about it." And he's like, "Well, I don't want to. I don't want to have that look until we know." And I'm like, "Okay, so I'll do it." So I'm like, "And what day are you free?" He's like, "Well, I'm not." And I'm like, "Well, I'm free. I'll do it." So I threw an event up, and then the admin team was like, "No, no, no, no. Let us advertise it and let us do our part." And I said, "Okay, fine." And so we moved it, the week or 10 days down the road. And well, and this is where I'm getting to, Andrew. Laura had a VA appointment and they moved it to the same day. So now, like Friday, I left the house at 7 o'clock in the morning to bring Laura to the VA. And then we didn't get back from the VA till 11. And then I went and set the room up and then went live. Well, she was recovering and I was kind of on my own. And it was kind of like, "You're live, here you go." And then in the middle of it, I'm like, "Oh, my computer screen died." And like you're saying, the chat was locked. And so sort of the team wasn't there because two things moved together, and it sort of left me a little shorthanded. And then going out, and so yeah, and really it's now that I like, once I see it, once I experience it, it's like, "Oh, I could fix this." I'm a very fast solve a problem guy at that point. And in fact, that's like a lot of, from the precision rifle side. If you've seen me go to other people, um classes, what I'm doing is I'm sitting back in a lot of these other people's classes and I edit them. So somebody will say, "Hey, we're doing a class and we feel this is a little long," and I see eyes glazed over, and "Can you help?" And it's like, "Yeah, let me see what you're doing." And then it's like, "Oh, got it. A, B, C. Fix this, cut that. Don't need to talk about that. You're good." Same thing with me. I go in and like immediately after I'm done, I spin in circles like the Tasmanian devil, literally. And this fix, that fix, this fix, that fix. I don't like this. Why is this doing this? I hate this. This is not right. This is it. And that's what I do. And what my brain is doing is like solving all these problems. And then it's like, "Okay, got it." Well, then Friday, like, so I had these two little problems on Friday. Saturday, I go to the range and the problem's reversed when the cameras flipped, right? This camera stopped working. This camera was working, but doing its white balance crap. And so it's like, "Okay, solve that." But then I'm like, talking on the backside, my audio's good. I solved the audio problem. And so I don't have audio issues. Great. I could fix a camera. Then this morning, like I said, "I'm gonna go less." I have like a really cool, bigger webcam. It's a 4K one, but it's older. It's a gaming one. And I'm like, plug it in and I'm doing all this with it. I'm like, that's perfect. So then I had like another like one that was good, wasn't even opened. And I opened it and put it on. I go, oh yeah, that's perfect. No power, no this, no that. So by 10 o'clock this morning, I had solved three of the four problems identified. Five problems identified. So three of them I solved this morning. The next two, which is the chat, is one of them, is where I go to the team on Monday and say, okay, in the hide setup, we need to make sure this is right. We need to make sure this is right. We need to make sure this is right. And then from there, I can run with more lives, more lessons, and knowing I can't, I not can't, knowing I won't be censored with a firearm is going to allow me to go live more often with the firearm because, every time we've done it, we've been nailed. I've gone live at the range and it's been cut in the first 5 minutes. Even here, I did a live and we've picked up a rifle or something behind us, or, even just in the studio. Oh, I played the video. So I was live exactly like this. And I played a pre recorded video. I just hit a button up here and I play a pre recorded video. They killed it. They killed the live because I inserted a pre-recorded video with me shooting. Had an intro, had music, had everything. They still killed the live stream because there was a video of me shooting guns in it. So that was a major part of the test to make sure. No, they're Canons. And the new camera, I changed everything on that Canon. There is an auto feature somewhere, and I think it's in the dial. I actually think the dials override the EV settings. Um, because I was changing it and trying to stop it. I got it off auto. And I went in and set it, and it still was doing its thing. And what I believe was happening is it's the dial. I think the manual settings have to be on a very specific dial. And even though a certain dial is letting me change something, and in the camera, I'm seeing it change. Well, when it's playing through, it's not sticking. But yeah, trust me, because when I saw that Friday night, I'm sitting there with the camera in bed, hitting the button. And then in the morning, when I went out to the range, I tried to do the same thing and I took it off auto, put it on all the stuff. I set it. As soon as I walk into the scene, it started adjusting. And I'm like, "Why is it adjusting? Because 'Cause I'm in the scene now." And what I think is my beard. I think my beard is making it like a gray mat, and it's white balancing the scene based on my beard, and it's because the dial isn't in a completely manual state. So, there's, like, 3 movie settings on the dial, and it almost appears 2 of them you can't manual. The third is the only one because it's meant to be an easy button for people. It's meant to be, "Hey, what are you doing? Connect this to your app and go." And so, these new cameras and stuff, and then, like, I have an older Canon that I really like that used to be, like, my webcam and all this stuff. It overheats. Oh, you still Yeah, that and that's it, that training DVD, me and my buddies did that. We went over the top to edit that training DVD to make it look good. So it's like we know how to edit. We've taken classes, we've taken cinematography classes, we've taken all this. But normally, like my cameras are all manualed out. And this new little one, and it's only like 2 months old. This new little one, I'm like, manual, manual, manual. wait a minute, and it's still doing its thing. I'm like, why is it not staying? So I think it's these easy button cameras for people. And then the manual is in only one place because it's like, here's a setting, here's a setting, here's a setting. Oh, that's manual. And that's kind of what I feel that camera's doing. But when I'm in the fly and I'm in the moment, I can't be fucking with a camera. So, like I said, what I determined this morning, my audio's on me. All I need is a good camera that's not going to be chasing me. And as long as it's that infinity focus and everything that a webcam will do, like if I right now I can switch this, to here. And it's this. So all I do is change it from a fancy camera and you can see the difference. It's just here I am in my computer camera and it's like, okay, I could do my computer camera or I can create a scene. And that's what I do normally. I try to create a scene and make it look good. I mean, I even have like a little bit of Rembrandt going on and the way I light myself and light one side versus the other. I got two cameras lighting me. Like, I could block this guy and I could block this guy and they're set different and angled and then the lights behind me, which it's daylight, so they get washed out a bit, but again, that's my beard. If I move, I bet you the red and the blue behind me will pop. But it's my beard creating white balance with the camera. But yeah. But no, I went live and I'm happy that I can go live on the hide. I can bring this, and so every time we go to the range now, I'm gonna fire up the live. All I got to do is drop my Starlink, bring my laptop, plug in those webcams, plug in my mics that I'm already using when I'm filming stuff. I can bring the lives to people and answer questions and do that, and then they'll be up on the site. They don't really, other than subscriber, non-subscriber, that's the only factor. But they're not going to vanish off the hide. You can go back and watch them. But yeah. And that's what I did, Patrick. I did the DVD. I did the first half of the DVD Friday and Saturday. But I mean, being able to demo it right in the moment, and then like Andrew says, is if I can get the chat fixed, which it's just I don't know why it was locked. I have to look, and I don't even know where the lock for the chat is. I have to look because I didn't set that event up. But if I can get the chat to work and then have somebody who's gonna like Laura there, which is super easy. All I need is one person at that point to monitor the computer while I'm in front of the camera talking. And then, when I have multiple camera angles, all they have to do is this and switch the buttons. Go, hey, oh, look, here's a close up. I'm going to show you your trigger finger close up. And then I go, here's wide. And I'm going to show you downrange and us shooting. And this will work with Chris for his wind as well. He'll be able to do live lessons that way. So we can go in and say, hey, we're going to go out to the range. And then you don't have to worry about flying to Colorado. I mean, and it's a better than 75% chance, but hoping we get the right wind at the right time. Instead, we can go out there knowing we're going to have the wind because we'll know a week ahead of time and bring you lessons when the wind is there. I mean, and then knowing I could put pre-recorded videos in, knowing I can film some stuff and then insert it. There's a lot of flexibility, but I needed the process to bring you this. And once I have the process, then I can run, you know. And now the education will go without the is this working? Is that right? Oh shit, what's that? Because until you do it, you don't know. And the fun thing is we got that 25 Creedmoor. We're gonna I got the video. I still got to go play with it. But we have the 25 Creedmoor. We're going to switch chassis. We're gonna set it up as an NRL Hunter rifle. I could do all that live. Set up the rifle, go through the doping process live. and you guys can see exactly what we do, you know? And the only thing I would do with those processes is make them subscriber, which people are already subscriber. And I'm not going to be charging the extra fees. That was to see how the tickets work for me. That was to see for Chris. That was to see for other people to bring them lessons. Mine, I'm going to do more subscriber. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do, pay me, pay me, pay me. I'm going to be, okay, you're a subscriber. You're already paying me. I'm good. We'll go talk. You and I'll talk. And that's more of my plan is I'll be the subscriber guy. Chris, Jacob, all those others, because Jacob has an account. Now that I know it, I could show Jacob what to do. Yeah, yes, and that was the thing is in that was where the first hiccup was at the range was I was showing the bridging and being able to see bridging and do it live and get the camera in there. Now I got it. I'll repeat that. I'll do it again. I'll even make it available. But yes, cuz it's one thing to watch a video. Oh, nice. You bring the kids. How old are your kids? Shooter 88 says he's coming. He's gonna miss the kid's birthday. The kids will have other birthdays. Don't worry about it. They're small. They'll grow up. They'll have more, and you know, maybe when you're 80, they're going to complain that you missed the birthday to go shoot a match. It is going to be, oh, 8. They barely give him something Power Ranger something and he'll be fine. I'll give you a gift for him when you come to the cup and I'll get a gift and make sure they have it. So you could say, "Well, I had to go see Frank and Jacob to get this gift." And then the kid won't hold it against you that you came to the match. It's going to be so much fun. Like I said, Lindy was just here, dropped off a bunch of stuff, he picked up all the swags. I got two like 2-foot square boxes compacted and stuffed with sniper's hide swag. And so I sent it down with Lindy on his way. He dropped off gear they were using in Fort Collins. I handed him gear to take to Texas for the Sniper's Hide Cup. I mean, it's just gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a blast. Some old school stages. It's a little bit of run and gun, a little bit of handgun, a little bit of the kill house, and then we're gonna have a party. And all it is I'm there to say thank you. Thank you for 20 plus years of Sniper's Hide. Um, Angie, if you text me, I'll see what swag I got. I just gave most of it away, so I don't know. Depending on what size you are, I just gave a lot of my swag away. So the boxes walked out the door today. If you said Friday, give me swag, I would have dug into the box. There was cool stuff too, like hoodies. $60, $70 hoodies I'm giving away. One was a Carhartt color. The other ones were like a hunter green with the yellow, like the old school Force Recon colors used to be. But yeah, I have some swag. I can send it. I know I have stickers. So if you send me a mailing address, I could throw some stickers and swag for a refrigerator or a thing. But super psyched at the way the system is going. I'm really looking forward to leveraging the lives. I mean, you look at what all the kids do on the Twitches and stuff. I can't be Twitch because I can't be live on social media, but I could be live on the hide all day, every day. Not all, but I really wouldn't do that. But, you know, if I'm live 2 days a week at the range and 2 days a week here, there's a lot of stuff we can do. And then, like I said, the lesson part, I would almost rather put the PowerPoint in this way and run it like this. Now, I do like props and to be able to show you what I'm talking about, but I can also do that the next one at the range one. But sometimes it helps for me where if I show you the presentation and then I show you the trigger finger, now I could do stuff here and I can always have a like a lower. I could always have like an AR lower and even back up. But being in front of the computer like this is easier. But like I said, now that I have the camera situation figured out, which it's crazy less is more. and which is smart. That's what they're doing. Like, it used to be to get this, you needed better equipment to fine tune it, you know? And that's always been my mindset is, hey, get a better camera, get in there and push on the settings, and you'll look great. And now it's like, no, don't do that. Just put a fucking cam up. And if you got to throw a LUT over it and tune a LUT, then you're done. And the nice thing is this system does have a LUT system. You're looking at one right now. Like, I can put a LUT system on here and preset it for each of those cameras. And so, yeah, YouTube. See, and YouTube is the biggest offender. Oh, and I do have more like what they did this week. I do have a lot more subscribers, and the YouTube video system is very good. But like this week, they put a window into the forum for the lives. So and I haven't gone in. Let me go to the view. I'm not even on the view page. You know what I mean? I like now I need to, I'm in the
Lives.
view page.
And
So and I haven't gone in. Let me go to the view. I'm not even on the view page.
get
You know
up.
what I
This
mean? I
is
like now I need I'm in the
lives.
view.
Kill that volume.
All right. Yeah, there it is. So I mean, seeing the live chat's working on the hide. I'm in there right now, and the live chat's working on the hide, and there isn't that many people viewing the hide proper. You know what I mean? It's mostly YouTube and X. And so bringing these in that way, but yeah, it's one of those things where if you want to see firearm discussion with a firearm in somebody's hand while they're actually shooting it, the hide is the only place you're going to really be able to do that. There is no social media today you could do that. And so that's a huge thing to be able to say, hey, let's talk firearms with an actual firearm in our hand. And I'm going to be really the only game in town for a while to do that. And the tools we have today make it easy. Like I said, I'm going to show up to the range. I'll drop my Starlink. It's no different than I do any other time. And I have the built-in Ravions that last 6 hours easily. Drop that, turn it on, go. Laptop goes down, camera's plugged in on whatever I'm doing, and I'm done. I just put mic on. And so it's going to be a laptop and two webcams and my Starlink. I could do a lot with that. And I can even, I was telling Chris, it even works with our phones. This will connect to my phone and my phone becomes a remote camera. I'm not as big a fan of that, but it's a possible thing. It's definitely doable. And that's the key. But yeah, I mean, there's 85 people on here right now listening on a Sunday morning, but the majority are YouTube and stuff. And so YouTube does a very good job, and I have 50,000 people that are getting the notification. Um, I would do it short, Patrick. An 8 twist 30 cal is meant to be short. So I would do an 18-inch 308 or even a 16. If you want to do so, I mean, it sucks that um it sucks that an 8 twist is meant for a short rifle cuz you went and bought a big long barrel, but I would do a short 308 with it. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do something really heavy in a PRC, but eh, maybe, right? Maybe do a longer barreled heavy PRC. I like a PRC better than a Win Mag. A PRC is a straight pipe with no rim, and it's a nice recoil. It's a good push, and you could do a lot with a PRC. But the choice is really going to be a short 308 or a heavy PRC. I think would be your options. I mean, maybe you can go, I would do the PRC and put a really heavy bullet, like a 230 grain out of a PRC would probably be a nice load for that. Um, you know, you were talking about, let's see, shooter. I got another question here from Shooter. Let's see what he's saying. Frank, there were you were talking about some of the ergonomics of some of the Macmillans. Um, yeah, the Macmillan. I mean, a lot of guys like the A5. The A5 is going to have the longer stock. I'm smaller, so I do the A10 or U10 or whatever they call it. It's the kid one. I use that, and it's actually right behind me. A lot of the guys really are doing the foundation. They because the foundations copy a lot of the Macmillan, but the foundation stock is that mica and dampening, and you're seeing a lot more. Oh, melon heads. I'm gonna go. Yes. Wait till Sean. I'm gonna talk melon heads in a minute. But yeah, um, I that's where I live, dude. I'm telling you, we invented the melon heads in Connecticut. We invented it. Uh, my me and my cousins. But anyway, yeah. So shooter, I would totally look at a foundation first, but then a lot of them are doing the A5. And unless you're smaller, then it's the other one. But most guys, if you want a stock, they're running foundations. And so, that's the direction I would probably go if you're gonna do PRS NRL. Now, NRL is a lot less more weight, or you're gonna want a chassis for NRL because NRL has a weight limit. PRS doesn't have weight. You could do whatever the fuck you want in PRS, and they don't care. They're stupid. They're fucking clowns. Um, NRL has rules and restrictions. So if you're going to do an NRL rifle, you have to really pay attention to your weights. So that's where you're going to want XLRs, that's where you're going to want MDTs, that's where you're going to want chassis systems that are lighter that you can balance and build up versus maybe a stock. If you're going to do a stock, you got to go light. And then in that case, everybody's manners. I would go manners for NRL, probably. I mean, the tunable is my favorite. Manners over Macmillan. The tunable, because then you can yank weights out if you want to do NRL. You could put weights in if you want to do PRS. And to me, the best stock today for comps is Manners tunable. So I would do that if I was going to go a stock. Now the Manners, like I said, the Manners has the grip difference where I have to choke up because the trigger's far away from the face of the grip. Where Macmillan puts the grip closer to the trigger, Manners has the grip further away from the trigger. That's a defining thing for me. With a Manners, I have to choke up. I shoot a Manners different than I shoot a Macmillan. So that's with that. But yeah, so I'm going back to Connecticut probably in October, which is awesome. Fall, Halloween. I'm from Stratford. Stratford's claim to fame, witches. We killed more witches than Salem before Salem. So Stratford, Connecticut, where I'm from, had a very big witch problem. And we have Witches Rock downtown, and then that's where the melon heads and all that. And so yeah, and you can go back and watch the lives too. You can go get them, but I'm gonna do more, and like I said, that was a test. I wanted everything. I wanted it to be like a lesson. I wanted to. It was real, but for me, it was a test. And so I'm gonna absolutely do more for that, Sean, and take care of it. But yes, it went really well. There was two small hiccups in it, but none of them were catastrophic. It was one was it whited out the main hiccup from Friday night is you couldn't see the presentation. So I have to make sure I can load that in and have somebody do the presentation and hit buttons, while I do that because projecting it with the cameras was a problem. And then on Saturday I had a camera freeze. And so fixing and the bitches, it was like the best lesson on bridging. That's when the camera froze. And so I redid it, but like I said, part 2 is never the same as part 1, and my part 1, I nailed it, and it was so good. And then part 2, I was like, "Oh, shoot, the camera didn't work. I gotta do it over." And so you'd never quite hit it the same. Your anxiety level goes up and your speed level goes up, and so that's what happens with that. But yeah, man, Stratford, Melonheads, Roosevelt Forest. I lived right against Roosevelt Forest. We used to go play up there, and we grew up in an age of no internet. I was a I was kids high school in the 80s, and I had 33 first cousins. Half of them we all lived on the same street, and we were a roving gang, and we played everywhere. We used to walk like 5 miles in formation to go get Chinese food because we can afford that. Like we'd have, all our pocket change. We would get big bowls of fried rice and then tea, and then we could feed all of us with fried rice and tea, and then we would walk back, where we were going, but we would walk miles. And then we would play in the woods cuz Bridgeport's a big city. But Stratford, where we lived, is like the little suburb of Bridgeport, so we had woods around us. And so we had forts in the woods, we had everything, man. We were crazy in the woods with it. So yeah, melon heads were a big part of us and the witch and stuff and finding things and scratches in a rock was a witch and cuz that's where Witch's Rock in downtown Stratford was like claw marks on a rock. So we looked for claw marks on rocks and that was played in the streams and the ponds and all that. But yeah, the lives did go smooth, the lives worked. I learned a ton, and the next one is going I'm going to do a subscriber one to kind of prove to myself this week, like, hey man, here's a subscriber live from the range, here I go, just to say yes, everything went good. But I needed the event, I needed the webinar style because of the ticketing and all that. So Chris, Vibber, Jacob, those guys can do their webinars, and I know it works, you know. Theoretically, I can break down this. If you look at my presentation, I think is just shy of 100 slides. So, like the fundamentals that I did about 40 slides worth. Um, in the fundamentals and the setting up the rifle. Right? So that to me, I did 3 hours total. Technically it probably should have been 4. Um, but the chat was down like you had shown. If I had the chat open better and a few more, I mean there was people on, don't get me wrong, but if I had the chat open correctly and say there's 10 people on instead of 5 people on, I think it would extend another 30 to 45 minutes at least. And then when I go to the range with that same number, the Q&A part of it would have been longer. Yeah, and that's just it. You can see better, you can ask questions, and then you could be there. And then you should be able to, and you have to let me know, you should be able to go back and watch the video on demand. So that's part of where I want to make sure you bought a ticket. I want you to be able to go back and watch it on demand after so you can always be fine tuning. What did he say with that? Oh, he said this. Okay. And I want you to have that ability to go back and rewatch it. So I need to Monday, because I wasn't bugging him over the weekend. Monday, I'm going to talk to the team. I'm going to debrief on all of what I learned Friday and Saturday. And then I have to go in my punch list of the chat needs to be open. This needs to be here. Can they watch it on demand after? How long do we keep that available? All those things I need to clarify for myself. And because one, they were working on, I left them alone earlier in the week because they've been working on the direct, the RTMP. And I didn't use the direct, I used the Vimeo link. But because I'm enterprised, Vimeo left me alone. And that's awesome. I mean, I'm spending a metric ton of money. Um, Yeah, and that's the thing is, and even looking at it, Andrew, my mind was I could pre-record so much of this, and I can play pre-recorded stuff. So I can put up a Q&A. I can go to the range and film some answers and then insert it into a live, and then we can bounce back and forth. There is like I can come in. The only thing, like I said, YouTube in this format, if I play a gun video live right now, YouTube will kill it. But I have a button right here, like literally, I'm like on it. If I click it, I can load a video in, play it. I can load in the lesson, play it. You know what I mean? And the the thing is, with high TV, you should be able to go watch it on your schedule. You know what I mean? It'll be on your time. I don't need 100 people in my live, although there's 100 people in there right now. I don't need 100 people in the live to make it worth my while. I can do a live lesson for subscribers, talk live, upload the videos, discuss things live. Well, a week later, you can come back and buy it and watch it, or you're a subscriber, just watch it. The only thing that will be is we have a limited front page. So the videos will drop off the front page, but they're there and you can go back and watch them, and that's going to be a key element. So I have a series of lessons learned for Monday. I have a series for clarifications for Monday, and then from there I'm going to run. And so, like we're trying to do the schedule, I like going live on Wednesday. I like going live on Friday. I like going live on Sunday morning if I'm not working. You know what I mean? I can go live 5 days a week if I'm not working because I'm in front of the computer anyway. I could do Monday morning and you can watch it Monday night. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to do this. But like Chris is here, I'm here. He's at the range right now with teaching a kid. I was almost gonna go out there, but I'm smoked from the last couple days and I nuked my brain thinking about all of it. But Chris is at the range mentoring right now. There's no reason why I can't be out there with him. And then him having a single lesson. Like, here's the drill. And then me just turning the camera on and doing 15, 20 minutes of that one drill 4 days a week. Yes, the OnlyFans girls the OnlyFans girls are making bank. You got to do the OnlyFans things. You got to be. And to be perfectly honest, it's funny. Like, in terms of advice, and I'm working with a team that is working on the site. Now, they don't talk to me as much about content and all, what I present. They're just like, "Hey, can you go live? Hey, can you go live? And when you go live, talk to these people or talk to these people." That's kind of what they do. "Hey, you haven't, I was away." And then they're like, "Can you go live?" And I'm like, "I'm still away. I go live tomorrow." And they're like, "Okay, cool." But from the OnlyFans side of it, it is the repetition. It is knowing you can find somebody, and them chicks make bank, man. They're live all the time. So they don't give me content. They just tell me when. Like, you should go live. And and why not? Like I said, if Monday I go to and I it's like I have a nice process at the range now. Go to the range for 9 and I leave at 1. That gives me, 2 hours in the afternoon to edit some video or do something that I want to put up on social media. But if I go to the range 3 days a week, which is common when I'm home, right? If I'm staying home and I'm not traveling or teaching or have a class, it's not uncommon for us to be at the range 3 days a week. If those 3 days I do a 15 to 30-minute live talk, why not? And it'll be just part of the subscriber or free. I would probably do half subscriber, half free, and then so the other part is they don't even want me writing anymore like articles. So you think about the art, like Chris puts up articles every week, and Jim Fish puts up articles and reviews. So if you go on the Hide and then look up the articles, those articles are changing every week. Well, they want the articles to be video. Just don't write it, go show us and then post them. So rather than 800 word article that the computer says it'll take you 8 minutes to read, the web team, my web team, they want it done via video. So the web team is saying move away from articles, although Google reads the articles. You want articles cuz Google reads those. And as long as you hit certain algorithmic, checkpoints, Google's happy. Google's like, "Yeah, these are real people because articles are moving." But they're saying the modern way to do this, um, the more I look Missouri, but anyway, article wise, it would be easier for me to pop in a live and tell you what I would write, and then you listen to it in your car or at home, than for me writing it and saying go read it. So that's the difference in what they're saying. They're saying, I can say, "Hey, I'm going to write an article." Post it on the Hide, and then I'm going to say, "Hey, go read my article." Instead of like, so you're going to click on a link, you're going to click on a post, social media somewhere that says Frank has an article. You're going to click on the link to take you to my article. Well, social media doesn't like that. They don't want me posting on X for you to go to the Hide. So they're going to be like, "Nah, we're not going to give this guy a lot of exposure because he's asking you to leave here to go there." But if I just put a video up on X about the Hide, it likes it better. Where the hook has to be is you get 1 minute of it on X and you get 15 minutes of it on the Hide. That's where the kind of lever is. So, Patrick, so Missouri is kind of where my brain keeps falling back to. Kansas or Missouri's looking good. Although, like I said, Iowa's beautiful. I loved so much about Iowa. It just scares me because they're politically attacking Iowa. Iowa is on the radar, and Iowa's in play right now. And so, politically speaking, I don't want to go to Iowa, plant a flag in, and then them steal Iowa out from under me like they did Colorado. I left Connecticut for Colorado for, a couple reasons, but one was freedom. Connecticut was the East Coast, you know, after Sandy Hook, no firearm, no ARs, no this, no that, no anything. So Sandy Hook wrecked Connecticut. So I left. And then Colorado in the last 6 years took the freedoms out from under me, where next year I can't get a gun. I have to leave. So now Kansas or Missouri are my top two. Missouri has risen to, in my mind, the top of the top of the list. So that's kind of where my head's at. But Missouri looks pretty good. It's not too bad. But yeah, so that's the thing is bringing content, and bringing content in a way that has me backing off the in-person classes and the work that I'm doing. Like I said, 3 days a week is a nice week for me. If I do this work 3 days a week, and then in between those 3 days, the other two I'm live at night, Wednesday, Friday, that's a comfy time. I could do that in a lot of places. I could do it if I do travel. I can, and then, like I said, getting the live out in the field between the Starlink, the laptop, and then the camera system, slimming it down to the bare minimum with the least amount of potential for a hiccup. That's huge. I mean, don't get me wrong, you could do a lot on my phone. I can fire this up and I could talk to my phone. That's not great. That doesn't give you the look and doesn't, you don't get to watch my finger the way you want. I can do it. I'm going to do it to bring you live event stuff. Like if I went to a match. Yeah. Yeah. If I went to a match and then said, "Hey, I'm going to throw my phone up live and talk to some people," that's fine. But if I'm going to bring you something that's I think has value in terms of education, I think it should be a little bit more than the phone. And that's where I went wrong in some ways trying to camera it. It's like, fuck, I invested in cameras and the cameras are too finicky with the system where it's like less is better. Crazy. It is so crazy. I mean, even like I have this little camera that I'm not 100% around. It's a gimbal thing. It's a little tiny guy. And it connects it great. It's always on. It does what you want it to do, wide phone, and it just didn't really click with me. Plug it in, put it through this system. It's no hassle. So it's like webcam this cam. Now I can gimbal and move around and it's it's pennies. So, yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm going to go back to Connecticut probably cuz I have like I'm going to Ohio. Well, and that's it. 1080 and that's the thing. I'm thinking I need 4 cuz 4K gives you some flexibility in editing. Like if I shoot in 4K, I'll produce it in 1080. But 4K gives me flexibility. But 4K wrecks lives. You need a lot of juice and you really don't have upload, you have download. So downloading a 4K movie is easy. Uploading a 4K movie is not. 1080 in 720 in this I'm on 1080 right now. And because if I go 4K, camera overheat, and so the cameras overheat and they do shit. So, like, better cameras with the higher res give you more flexibility to edit, but it nukes the system and overheats them. And then they overheat and shut down. And so that's like my other Canon that I actually shoot with because it's hot here. I mean, it's 90 most of the time. It has a fan built in. I use a 5C with a fan on it, and because my Mark 6 shuts down and nukes. Yes, I think they are. And that's the thing is once you get into a system, Andrew, they are there. Because right now, I mean, I'm being more consistent. There's over 100 people online right now. They're here. So Andrew's asking if people will show up with the kind of that process. Absolutely, they will, because we're in a cycle now. On Wednesday night, Chris and I are talking. Now it's middle of August and summer. A lot of people aren't around, but Wednesday nights lives, we're right around 200 people. Sunday morning right now, yeah, and I didn't do the Sonys, man. I was Nikon's, before coming up into this world, all my stuff was done with Nikon. Nikon fucked me, to be honest with you. Nikon, like, didn't do video. So then I went into Black Magic. Well, my Black Magics kept breaking. And then I said, the hell with this, and I jumped to Canon. And so now I'm running Canons, and Canons overheat. I didn't do the Sony. And so I'm not going to do the Sony. I'm sticking in the Canon world, and Canons overheat. And so that's the thing. And so I have, three Sonys or three Canons, four if you count that little guy I complain about, but the Canons all overheat on 4K. And so that's the problem is I in order to get the 4K video and to do what and even this camera right now, there's a heat thing coming up. It's because this has been running this entire time, and you'll see it'll stutter. I have a heat meter coming up on my camera right now, and all it's doing is acting as a webcam. I'm not even moving. But if I move, it'll stutter at some point. But this camera's already got 1 bar on my heat measure. Yeah, I know that. And people were, but you know what? I jumped before the Sony A7 was around. So I jumped into the Canon world before Sony. Sony was just starting to come into the play. And then my Canon overheated, so I jumped to the 5C. And by then, I'm not investing in Sony's infrastructure because I already moved from Nikon to Canon, And in the camera world, like reds, anything you do, which we moved away, like when I was doing the cinematography, when I was doing the video, when I was doing everything, that's when red's coming up. That's when Kinefly's coming up. That's when all these little black magics are coming up. Well, native, most of those cameras offer Canon for lenses, So when I jumped from Nikon in my DSLRs to Canon and mirrorless for video because my Black Magics kept breaking and I was saving money doing Black Magic, but yeah. And now DJI, man. DJI does everything for $300 and it's better. Insta 360 or DJI. And all my mics now, I switched to DJI. All that DJI is the way to go. And DJI connects in. It's the smallest system. It allows you ProRes and does all kinds of LUTs. Everything I do with a big camera, I can do with a DJI or an Insta now or a GoPro. You know what I mean? But you can do it all with the little cameras now and get the same coloring. Like everything downrange in my videos, all are all DJI, and even Chris is all DJI. But DJI, you can camera completely around you for $1,200, and it'll look exactly like this. It's crazy. And that's the thing I'm saying. You invest in equipment, you got the Sony, which is great. You got this, you got that. And it's like my Canon, I got a Canon right here. Well, I switched it out because my Mark 6 was overheating. I switched it to this other one and it doesn't overheat to the point of shutting down, but it overheats to the point where the meter comes up and I'm on 1080, you know? And so that's the thing with, we're living in the world. Equipment, man. And that's where I was saying, I was using a Sigma. I have my old Sigma I carried around. That Sigma rocks, but it's picky sometimes. It froze on me yesterday. The Sigma plugging in to a computer is awesome. But out at the range, probably because of the heat and the power, locked up. So when it's 90 degrees outside, getting the cameras to run for an hour, that's an issue. That's a thing. And then, bringing you shooting content. I got a ton of content. Like I said, I could bring you 15 minutes 4 days a week of a lesson in, bolt gun, gas gun, 22. There's we air rifle. I have all those to talk about, and 22 and air rifle are the growing areas. You know, the in the US, the average range is 200 yards. Blue Trail in Connecticut, 200 yards. I don't think they let you use that anymore. But Blue Trail in Connecticut, the only real range that's not a local club, they're out there. There's 1,000-yard ranges in Connecticut. They're just fish clubs, fish and hunt clubs. But Blue Trail in Connecticut's 200 yards. That's 1,000 yards with a 22, right? You can have a whole NRL 22, whatever, Mars, event, every state in the union, including New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. Yeah, I could. I mean, I have 300 videos on YouTube, I believe. And I have like, if I pull up like my Grammarly, all my articles from Gun Digest, because remember, for 4 years, I don't even know, I didn't care. I wrote for Gun Digest. I did a monthly article for Gun Digest for at least 4 years. I have every one of those articles. I'm writing the tips and tricks book right now. Chris and I are doing, Gun Digest hired me, paid me to do a new book, a tips and tricks book. And we're doing that now. We're going to give them the manuscript in December. But I'm coming out with a part 2, tips and tricks. So I'll even be updating my book, changing weaponized math from my fundamental book to gravity ballistics and the tips and tricks, right? So we are writing, but the goal is to bring you updated videos, exactly like you said. And then, like, getting into the rhythm, it's all about your rhythm. So now, you know, it's you're seeing the eggs made, you're seeing the omelet being made. And I'm cracking eggs and making omelets here. And like once I get like my process, it'll be like the Hyde omelet. And I don't really like that omelet. Oh, I like that one better. I went too far with that one. Okay, I'm back at a good omelet right here. That's kind of what you guys are seeing. And I'm 90% there now with my system. So once my system is built, then I'll go deal, and we'll talk precision rifle. We'll talk all the little shooting stuff. Well, I got ELR out there. I got short range out there. We got handgun. I mean, guys don't realize Chris is a handgun carbine guy too. We do precision rifle, all that, but it's not like he wasn't a door kicker at one time in his life. In a way, we all were. My door kicking is 100 years old, but he's modern. He's a modern guy from a tier 1 group. So, we can do that when we haven't even touched that. And he goes out and he's handgun all the time. He walks out of his truck and we have a little area up at the top of the range, the line. So my line extends actually. We have the regular line. There's like a hill with some props on it. And then there's another line that has benches built in from someone else. And right in front of those benches in that area, we have handgun targets. And so he'll jump out of his truck, pull a carry gun, pop, 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 and go through and whale all his handgun stuff and then put his carry gun back and then do precision rifle things. We don't ever talk about handgun and carbine, but like he was saying in the live on Wednesday, his best groups are with a carbine. It might be a full size 6.5 Creed or something. Might be a 223 for him. Who knows? He shoots a bunch of them. He comes out with all different carbines all the time, and but it's not like we don't. We just don't show it and talk about it because me personally, I tend to stay in my lane. I've taught it. I've been around all these guys through the rifles only years. Um, yeah, there is. I mean, and you have to guard a little bit, but I don't get like you know, if you ever look it up, I don't know if you guys know him, but if you look up like Jason Falla from Redback One, he's a handgun carbine guy. He's a door kicker guy. He teaches all the best people and that he teaches all the best people that stuff. Um, I worked with him forever. I worked with a ton of SAS dudes. Like the dirty little secret for rifles only in the middle of the wars were we were the home for the Australian SAS guys. So when they were doing stuff with us, they hung out at rifles only. And they run up the crane, go get new guns, they come down, they go over work with somebody, they come back, but their home plate for the US was in Texas with us. So if you go there, there's shit on the wall where they're calling us cunts and everything and doing all their stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not my lane. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go and go. SIGs, my SIGs have been reworked by JTF too. We're doing bolt gun stuff with them, and their armorers are there, and they're like, "Hey, you got a handgun? Yeah. What do you shoot? Glocks and SIGs. Give me your SIGs. Okay, here." Now your SIG isn't a SIG anymore. It's their gun. Because they pull every part out of it and they put all their parts in, and now they're working on it, and next thing you know, your 226 is like a sewing machine, and because JTF guys worked on it, but I don't live in that lane. You know what I mean? I'm not a pistolero. I have to work into it. So it's funny. A girl just came by naked. I might have to go. So just so you guys know. And it might be Sunday fun day. But yeah, I mean and so there are a lot of videos, there's a lot of things, and honestly, the more I learn it, the more yeah, now like Andrew, I have two bars. Like I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you this real quick. I'll take a picture of my camera. So if you guys look, there's a bar with a thermometer right there. It's heating up just sitting here live because I'm over cameraed and the fancy cameras, and it's even on 1080 and it's starting to get hot. And so that's where I run into that issue where I was talking about. Like, I'm thinking it's like, give me a better camera. Give me a better camera. Give me a better camera. And actually, less camera. Go figure. But yeah. But yeah, it's overheating and shit. So it's there. But yeah, so we went live on the hide with a firearm. I'm 100% behind it now. I will be going live on the hide with firearms more often, more times than not. And so that's going to be great. Lessons, demos, all those things. And then Chris, don't forget, Chris has the win lessons there. Chris has all that. Once he gets that sorted out and he wants to do the beginnings with me, and we'll be there this week, you'll watch him run because he shoots a lot of video, and if he's then able to go directly live, you know, so yeah, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to bring you the best content we can, and like I said, I know I'm kind of older and I don't do the content like the guys do. It's changing. You know what I mean? The way we absorb it, it's different, but the information is key, and that's kind of where I'm going. I'm not looking to be, like friggin' he's not T-Rex anymore, but I'm not looking to be Lucas and run around and pistolero and, jump over shit. I did that. I'm done running and jumping. But if I bring you straight up solid info, hey, this solves problems, this is easier, then that's where I'm looking to go. That's my goal, is to, just kind of chill out and bring you guys some good content, and then others, because this is the hide. We have the Content Creator Network. If anybody is out there putting out content and they need somebody, a place to do it, we sign up content creators on the Hide TV, no charge, no nothing. It's the girls will set up the account for you, and then you just have to feed it. Now, if you want to feed into an audience and be able to show it moving around, all yours, man, go for it. And then as you bring in subscribers or anything, we'll rev share with you. Like Chris does his lessons, and every month, give him a check. You know what I mean? And so he gets paid off of that, and the Hide has that content creator network. Like I said, you'll see stuff from Vibber, you'll see stuff from Chris, you could see stuff from Jacob. So all of that is available to anybody you know. So if you know somebody out there who's talking to a few people, who's doing, like you said, who enjoys it, that's his thing. Hey, I'm going to go and shoot and I'm going to discuss it while I shoot. Bring them over to the Hide, sign them up, and they can be live, and this system will work for them. And then the direct access with no censorship, no, hey, you're live with a firearm. No, nah, man, live with a firearm, go for it, and show people what we're doing, because like it's so bullshit. The OnlyFans, we were laughing about the OnlyFans girls. The OnlyFans girls can go live and be all over the place and show you, I'm going to show you from here. Yeah, that's okay, right? I could put that on the internet, but me like this, it's like, get out of here. You're off the internet. And it's like, what? Wait a minute. I could bob my head as long as you don't see under my nose. You know, I'm good. Like, what? It's crazy. Yeah. Fucking yeah, that's nuts stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's we're in the Constitution and we can't be on the internet. The stuff that's like morally questionable with some people, not that I care. I don't care what you do. But 50% of the world doesn't want to see it. All good. Let's make sure you see it. It's like it's bizarro world. It's backwards. And I watch. Speaking of that, so this is like getting right into it, and I'm gonna switch gears here for a second, because we watched the new Superman, and it was a different way. Like I said, I've been to cinematography classes. I've taken classes from some people in Hollywood and who've done things and movies that are big. It was a weird way to. It was like if you took a bunch of the clips online and stitched them together. It was a story, but it was a story stitched together with clips and not scenes. Like it's hard to define scene versus clip, but like this scene didn't lead into this scene. This scene can be completely disconnected from this scene, which there was no logical segue through a lot of it. It just, hey, we're here now. And it's kind of like how we absorb info. It's like what catches your eye. And so that's what I'm talking about. Storytelling has changed. You know what I mean? In the new Superman, to me, like halfway through, Laura's like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know yet. It's well made. I get what he's doing. But it was like if I laid two comics down and flipped the pages, but the ADHD me flipped the page. Nah. Okay, that's cool. I'll read that part. So I'm skipping pages. So Superman felt like I was reading two comics at the same time while skipping the boring parts, you know? And it was like, give me the tittied girls. Oh, I'm gonna watch that. If it was like if it had the girls in it, because like Gunn has a thing with women. He's a if you pay attention to James Gunn with women, he's got a thing. But yeah, it was like I was watching two comics being done, skipping the boring parts. Like, cool. Yeah, if that was with this. And so that's kind of where I'm having to adapt to the different kind of storytelling. And the education has to be storytelling. So it's crazy, but it's fun. And that's where now I'm trying to do that with the educational part because like you're saying, are people going to be on? Are people going to be paying attention? Do people like what you have to say? So you have to kind of speak to the ADHD mind. And the bitches is my ADHD mind needs more detail because that's where my ADHD goes. Where the other people want cut to the chase stuff. And that's where you sort of see me going from a 10-minute to a 5-minute and then trying to get the 2 minutes to, it's crazy. But yeah, I think Superman completely like demonstrates what we're like the world circles around my head for this and then bringing precision rifle stuff to it. It's cool. It's fun. You know what I mean? I like talking this stuff. I like talking right shooting and doing that. And it is changing. Like I said, there's a lot that arc world, that PRC world. Right. But and Boone's right. It is, and people want the detail. Some do. And my ADHD wants details. I have to be in a very logical way where it appears to me the new ADHD doesn't. And absolutely, I want the details. And that's why like I obsessing with the lives. Like me obsessing to bring you a complete picture to make sure I don't have a small hiccup. Where it's like blows my mind that camera froze, and to me that was like one of the best lessons, and that camera missed it. Like if I take the hour that I did on Saturday, there was a 2-minute segment that was rock star that has evaporated into the ether. You can hear me and you'll hear what I have to say, but you can't see me because the camera froze, but the audio worked. And so that's where that drives me bonkers. I have to fix that. And it's like it came up. It was like in the Tasmanian devil minute that I talked about where I ran around like a Tasmanian devil to relive every error that I saw. I said that 2-minute thing froze, and the response was big deal. No, it was a huge deal. And my ADH brain went nuts. Like that was a huge deal because I nailed that part of the lesson. If you saw what I was doing and talking about, it was textbook and it's gone. And it's 2 minutes of that I'll never get back. But I repeat myself so much, I'm going to do it again just as good. Yeah, my ADHD doesn't want it. There's a gap. And so that in today it's like, as long as I had fun, one mind, and so I need it. I need those things to work. Yes, and that, like I said, I didn't know the chats and the whole thing, and then I went in with the bipod at the Friday or Saturday, And I made sure I showed the bipod on Saturday because of that. And I went through to show the knuckling in the bridge and how today with our bipods less is more. And if you bridge and drop in, you don't have to really think about loading the bipod. You are loading the bipod. And so loading the bipod from a verbal standpoint is insanely confusing. Loading the bipod from a visual standpoint is insanely confusing because you can't see the pressure. So you have to demonstrate loading the bipod with the visual and the audio being right, because you either one of those is off, you'll confuse a person. And what it comes down to is our shoulder. So loading the bipod comes from your belt, from your core, from your intestines. Where do you load the bipod? Your intestines, not your shoulders. But everybody wants to push with their shoulders, not their core. And I know it worked on Saturday. You should have been able to see, because I talked about it when I did the flow, where I brought my belt an inch forward. Right? You think about your belt buckle. You're bridging, you're sliding your belt buckle about 1 inch forward, and then you're laying into this rifle. That's loading the bipod and not your shoulders. So it over the years, loading the bipod has become a game of telephone, where it's been talked about and talked about and talked about in a circular fashion that it's spun itself into something it's not. And that is where people were breaking atlases at one point because they were loading so hard, they were pushing the leg over the ridge and wearing it. And then it would slip and collapse a leg because they loaded an atlas so hard. That's why you have a steel ridges there now. Yeah, and you'll see it though. I'm just saying it. But no, and that's why an Atlas bipod has the steel to hold the leg, because the aluminum got pushed so hard, people broke it. That's not loading the bipod. That was the misunderstanding of loading the bipod. And so that's why I want to bring this to you these ways, because there's a lot of game of telephone shooting. You know, shooting to me is the longest running game of telephone. I grew up, again, Connecticut. We had New York. I was right there. All our TV was New York. And Wonderama, Sunday morning Wonderama, game of telephone. And shooting is the longest running game of telephone that has to be addressed. So that's absolutely what you're seeing. That's absolutely what's going on. And that's where we are. And so my job is to translate that game of telephone back to original intent, back to the fundamentals, back to, where we are, or even not even back to, but then to translate, to get, the game of telephone part, to get rid of all those myths and legends, the old wives' tale, but then to put it into context of modern times. Because sight picture by the fundamentals is with iron sights. We're using a scope and we're aiming it today. So I don't want to talk about the fundamentals in terms of iron sights. I want to talk about the fundamentals in terms of a rifle scope. And so you have to translate that, and that's kind of where we're at with that stuff. So. And that's where all the videos are going to come in. That's where you could break down. That's where I can go back in time and said, because my first, think about this, my first paid online training lesson where I charged $1 and someone bought a video was in 2009. Think about that. Sniper's Hide online training started in 2009. You might be able to find a few 2008 lessons from Jacob and I, but they were thrown out there and I was sort of testing it. But the first time I created an online training lesson atmosphere, infrastructure was in 2009. So I go back that far with video lessons. Shit's changed leaps and bounds since then. Um, I don't think I would redo them. I might refilm them or something. I don't think I would redo them. But I mean, you always can say something better and then not being necessarily distracted. Like if I go out this week, Andrew, and set up how I set up this morning here, and it flows great. If I can figure out how to change the source and do it again, I would. Right? Right? It used to be 10 bucks a month, right? Yeah, the world changed. Shit's expensive. But if I can figure out how to replace that, and I may be able to, I will. And not change your access. Like I said, this is all questions I have to do for them, but I would absolutely take everybody who paid for Friday and Saturday and give just them a new private one. And I should be able to do that no problem. I can say you have access, you have access, so I will talk to them about redoing Friday and Saturday in a different way for free for you guys. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm not looking to be greedy in any way, shape, or form, but it is a function. I have to pay for stuff on my end. So covering that needs to be done on the other end as well. That kind of stuff. So but yes, we will absolutely do it, work it, try it, all that. All right, guys, I'm gonna do 5 more minutes, and at 12 o'clock, I'm jumping off my time. I've been on for almost two. And like I said, the girl walked by naked, so I need to take care of that. Um, and all that. But yeah. So absolutely, Andrew, because there is a distracted element to it. Like I said, I was doing the Friday night. The chat wasn't working. Then my stuff shut down from my view and I couldn't see anything. And I was like in panic mode inside my head. Like, did that shut off the feed or just turn off my screen? And why did my screen turn off? Like, this one never does it. And so I have to go into the other laptop and fix that. But yes, if I can do that stuff, I would and redo it. But it's learning. It's the bitch is you can't necessarily you only can go so far to practice without anyone seeing it. At some point you have to go live and try it to make sure all the pieces work, but yeah, it's one of those deals. But no, thanks you guys for being on. Really appreciate all of you. Like I said, the system's working, the system's being upgraded. I'm really cool with all how this is coming out. I think it's awesome. And I appreciate, all the people that are on and watching. And I think I got it. You know what I mean? It's a learning curve. It's new equipment. It's changing how I operate. It's moving into modern ways, and it every month this changes. I can click a button and it works. A month from now, I'll click a button and they'll go, "Oh, no, we don't like that now." And I'm like, "What? I just used it." And so that's part of it. And what I'm finding is less is better. So I'm going to move away from the bigger, better, batter, and I'm going to go to less because it works. And so yeah, you'll see us bringing more of this, more coffee, more clatch, more of this. But thanks for a Sunday morning. Like I said, if I'm not traveling, I'm home on Sunday. I love coming up and having a cup of coffee with you guys and socializing. It's fun talking to you all. I appreciate everybody who's commenting, Andrew and all the guys. It makes it fun. But thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being part of it. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy.